We are back today for another day in the life of our homeschooling. My name is Brandy. If you're brand new here today, we are documenting some of our real life homeschooling days. And so this is one of those videos. It is August 20th. And so I'm showing you what we did today. Thursdays, it's my busiest work day. And so this was really our full test of, is this day going to work? And I think it's going to be totally fine. We may end up moving some things, but I think it was fine. So we started with math. We've been doing math towards the end of our morning routine. And I found that that's just not working. We used to always do math first. And this year I started with doing some of our other subjects first, but I think we're going to go back to doing math first. She did way better this morning with us starting with math than us doing math the last in the morning or mid-morning. So we did math first. I gave that a shot. That went well. Then we do our drill box. So we did our new Greek mythology. We reviewed some things. We did where's the state Maine that we just learned? What are the continents? We just do a bunch of different drills and I rotate through them. That's something we've added this year from Memorial Press, is just doing a little bit more drill work. She really likes it. So we did our drills. And then after that, we went into and did our Latin today. Like I said, this is just going so well. I'm like blown away by how well she loves this. And so today we did our worksheet 2. So she had to write our alphabet, circle the vowels. Then she had to write the Latin alphabet, so no J or W. And then she wrote her vocabulary, the Latin, and then she wrote the English. And she matched up her sounds all on her own. So she is just doing so well at this. And I was thinking about, I took 5 years Latin and I struggled. So I was wondering how well this was going to go. And I think it's because when I was in school, we weren't taught phonics. We were taught context clues. And so I think because she has such a good awareness of phonics, is she's able to do this so well because she knows that they're different than the English. The vowel sounds, some of them are the same, but the long I in Latin makes the long E sound. If you would have told me that 2 years ago, I would have not known what the long E sound was, but because she does phonics, this is coming really easy to her. And I think that is the difference, is just she has such a strong background that this is translating really, really well for her. So she did this. She's loving it. She tells us every day this is her favorite subject, which is so surprising. We will see how that remains as it gets a little bit harder. And then after that, we read Peacemaker. We did 2 more chapters in that. And then I actually had her notebook today. So she let me show you all this. I asked, but she did her copywork. So she didn't have to do cursive today because we did copywork. This is a passage that I found out of the book. Book chart doesn't have copywork, so I found one this morning that like each clan would be headed by a clan mother, and the people were reminded that the women are the ones from who all life and all power comes. So I was like, I like this one. So we put that in there, and then she did her longhouse, Iroquois longhouse. She said she found that 5 families, when she was looking at the book, 5 families can live in a longhouse. So she picked that, and we pulled that from Draw Right Now. So I gave her this and I was like, here, and then draw me a picture and then do your copy work. So she actually did the copy work and the longhouse just, I think during her rest, actually, this is what she did. Or at some point she did this. So it wasn't while we did this. I gave it to her and was like, hey, just get this done before I'm done with work. And that's what she showed me. So she got that done. And then we did we're doing Hearth and Story as well, poetry, because as you've seen, we have 3 poetry streams going. So today was the Peacock Feather. She didn't love this poem. I think it's kind of how the words were and stuff. She did color hers. She has one, and she did color it to match these. And then it's paired with a song. So the song was Cyndi Lauper, True Colors. And she was like, ooh, this is 90s. And I was like, this is not 90s. I'm highly offended by that. At least I don't think it is. I was like, I think this is the 80s. And neither one of us were super in love with the song, but we did it and we compared them. And so this was the first day she did not love poetry, but that's okay. Not every day will be one that she loved. And then after that, we got into history. So today was world history. So we did story of the world. So she asked if the Yodo could read it to us instead of me. And I'm so glad we did, because the Yodo, the narrator, actually does voices and stuff. So she liked this. So we learned about the Spanish Conquistadors. She finished up her map work doing that. This is my handwriting, but she did this. And then she traced that. So that was part of her map work. And then Story of the World, this is the massive activity guide, y'all. This book is so thick, but the second half of it is like all of the activity sheets. So I don't use these because that would be so hard to print. So I actually went on and bought the PDF. I think it was like $12 when they were on sale. So I can just print them out as we go. But I do like actually having the book because the book gives a ton of activities. So let me show you. So chapter 1 is, we're doing it over 2 days. Part 1 was the Holy Roman Empire. So it gives you review questions. So I'd already put the narration. We know how to narrate, so she narrates it back to me. And then review questions for today. So this was today. So I asked her those questions. And then she still narrates back to me. And then here's all the additional history reading books that you can get. And then here's corresponding literature selection. So if you want to get any of those books. And then it gives you the map work exercises, and your map work is in the back. And then you have different projects that you can do. So all of those are on here. And so we chose to do this one today. So her and her dad did this. I was not part of it, and she loved it. This is the first thing she showed me when I came out of my office. Was it talked about in our reading today, the $500 billion in gold and silver that the Spanish took from South America. And so I was trying to show them what 500 billion is. And so you went and you measured the tip of a pencil. And so that was that. Then you measured, it was some book box that they measured that was the right. And then it was her. She was exactly just over 4 feet. And then I guess that's the kitchen table. I'm not really sure. And then she had to take it to where it was. But she really had fun with this activity. They did that today at some point, and she was very excited about it. So I like how it was history, but then it also brought it back to a little bit of math and numbers and stuff like that. So we did this, and that did come out of this guide. And then another thing that we did with history, me and her, is we did our timeline notebook. We've been using the School Nest timeline notebook since she was in 1st grade, so we continue to add on to that. And I found in some group the timeline figures that go with this, so I just printed those out, so we have those. But that was history. And then the last thing we did, in the morning, was she read me 3 chapters out of here. So we are on chapter 10. She got all of her reading done. She read 48 pages this week. So that means tomorrow she doesn't have to read to me because we finished all of them, which I'm sure she's going to be super excited about. And then after we finished this, so that was from 7:45. We got a little bit of a late start this morning. She slept in and that was fine. So 7:45 until 9:45, we did those things. And then I had to get to work. I was hauling butt to get to work. By that, I mean, I had to finish getting ready, and then in my office, I work from home, but I had to get in my office. Today is my busy day. So then I was in my office until 2:45 working. And so during that time, I think they just played and stuff. I don't think they did any schoolwork because she didn't have to do cursive. They did lunch, and then during her rest, I'm pretty sure that's when she did her notebook. And then after she got up, they did this activity. And then they did all about reading, all about spelling, grammar. And then they went and collected moss. So tomorrow we have a science project with Real Science Odyssey Biology 1. And they had to collect moss with water. So behind our house, we have a creek and woods and everything. So they went down to the creek and they collected moss and fresh creek water. And tomorrow, hopefully, we have some tardigrades, whatever our little thing is that we're looking for. So we're going to use our microscope tomorrow. And then she just hung out. She played piano today, so she did some piano lessons. And then once I came out, we came down and we played with some Play-Doh with my 3-year-old. We did some fine motor skills with him. And then we started sewing school. So this is her handicraft. And so we set up her kit. So we learned about our safety terms in here. So welcome. And then we went over sewing safety school. And then we actually set up her sewing kit to get her ready. So we did the sewing kit, and I surprised her because I have one of these for embroidery. It's bigger. She loves it. And so I got her this one off Amazon. And so today in our lesson, we put together her sewing kit. So she got to put together all her stuff, and we went over what each thing is, and she has her needles and all that. So she was like, when do I actually get to sew? And I was like, we have a lot to learn before you do that. So we did sewing. And so that's what we did today. We got everything done except for art. So the one thing we didn't get done today was art. And that's because they were collecting moss, which turned into exploring down by the creek and everything. So that's totally fine. I'd rather her do that than not rather, but I'm glad she got out and they got to go down by the creek and have fun and do that. So totally fine. We will just do art on Friday, so I'm not worried about it tomorrow. And that is it for today. I'll see y'all back tomorrow.